I love watching this guy come through Haulover. We've seen him on the channel a few times, but every time he turns out, he puts on a show and it is worth watching. Welcome back, guys. It is your boy Broncos Guru along with our cameraman Wavy Boats down on the jetty, and it's this week's episode of Boats vs. Haulover. Our first boater to battle Haulover this week is going to show us that size does matter. This is something I see asked in a lot of different forums online. Should I get that 27-foot boat or should I get that 30-foot boat, and which one's going to handle offshore better? Well, of course, that 30-foot boat typically is going to handle offshore better if we're talking about similar types of boats. But overall, larger size, kind of like this Vanquish we're looking at here, gives you the opportunity to sit on top of the waves longer and not really fall into the troughs quite so much. These guys right here are doing an excellent job coming through Haulover, and it's really deceiving actually. You'll notice as it gets closer to the camera, these guys are going a lot faster than they look. They really do have that throttle down as they come through Haulover, and this round right here will definitely go to the boats. Our second boater to come through and battle Haulover is going to show us that power matters as well. That's right, it's not always just about size. If you try and take on something in your vessel and you don't have the power to do it, you can wind up in a lot of trouble. Kind of like our guy here who's trying to come into Haulover Inlet with a single 200 horsepower motor during low tide when this current is absolutely ripping. Situations like this can actually become very dangerous very quickly because he doesn't have the power to overcome any of the waves in front of him, and my man's actually relying on the waves coming up from the rear of the vessel to try and push him along to get through Haulover Inlet. There are two major flaws in this plan. The first one is if a large enough wave approaches from the rear, it could come over the stern of the boat and flood this vessel, making it even harder for him to get out of Haulover because of the added weight and highly increasing the chances of him capsizing the boat. Or even worse yet, that motor could fail and all of a sudden he's going to be at the mercy of the current of Haulover. He does make it through okay, but I'm going to give this round to Haulover. Our boater in the third round is going to show us what it's like when you have both the size and the horsepower, but for some reason you decide we're just not going to use it today. Here they are coming in through Haulover Inlet in this beautiful Everglades boat with trip engines on the back, but for whatever reason they're just taking their sweet time coming through, and you can tell that this is happening by the way Haulover is pushing the boat around and the difficulty they're having trying to keep in a straight line. It's because they're coming in just a little bit underpowered. They need to give it just a little bit more throttle to go ahead and make this through easily. Overall though, a boat with this size and this much power easily will take Haulover, and I really can't say too much because they are going to make it in through Haulover fairly safely, just a little slower than most of us would like to see them go, but you know what? No harm, no foul. They make it in and everybody's okay, and unfortunately we'll give this round to the boats. Our next boater is going to show us what it's like when you come through Haulover Inlet and you have neither. When I say neither, I mean neither the size nor the power, but you're going out and having a good time anyway, and that's what this vessel right here is doing. This is a 19-foot Yamaha, and here we can see they're going through Haulover Inlet, but they're coming through a little too slow. A vessel like this, the bow of the boat is so low, the freeboard is not high enough. They need to get the throttles up a little bit to keep that nose up, or they're going to wind up with a bunch of water in the cockpit. Here you can see in a few moments they're going to take a couple waves over the bow, but nothing serious. But the reality is it's surprising to even see this boat out in these kind of conditions. These aren't the kind of conditions this boat's necessarily made for. It doesn't mean it can't handle it, but it's definitely not my idea of a good time. And with the amount of water that I saw in the cockpit splashing around over some of those waves, I'm going to go ahead and give this round to Haulover. That's going to take us into the fifth and final round, tied at 2 apiece. Let's see who will take the win this week, even when Haulover fights back. I'm really impressed by this vessel coming out of Haulover Inlet. Usually when we see these big cabin cruisers come through, they take it really slow, and on a day like today, all of a sudden they get wet and they get the ride of a lifetime. My man here has kept the throttles down and is going to keep punching it through Haulover. Typically we see these guys take the first big wave and they'll start backing off on those throttles. These boaters do not do that. They hit a couple pretty decent sized rollers come up here in a few moments and they just keep going. They just let this boat do all the work and get through it. Here normally I would go ahead and give these guys the win, but you know what? Haulover's going to fight back here at the end, and as usual, we're going to let you guys pick this week's winner. Go ahead and line up in the comment section below and let us know if it's the boats or Haulover, but right here's where Haulover starts to fight back. Just as they start to get out of the inlet, they hit some massive rollers, and this boat starts to take a tail whipping. So let us know in the comments below, was their opening session good enough to give the boats the win in this round, or did Haulover come back and take the win in the end of the round? In our last episode that you guys voted on, Haulover wound up taking the win, and this was the scene here. And I want to thank everybody who voted, and of course, we've got our featured voters right here, just like we'll do the next episode where we'll feature some of you who vote this week. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Boats vs. Haulover. If you did, be sure to check out our other two channels. We have Wavy Boats, who gets us all this epic footage of Haulover Inlet, and my channel, Broncos Guru, we do some great comedy boating videos over there as well. And if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on that subscribe button.